Apple's foldable iPhone might actually be making it to September after all, and I have to admit, I'm slightly surprised by that because over the past few weeks, it felt like the rumours were drifting further and further towards a delay. Every couple of days there seemed to be another report saying the hinge was causing problems, production was more difficult than expected, yields weren't where Apple wanted it to be, and before you knew it everyone was assuming we'd see it announced in September, but not actually released until much later in the year. Now though, fresh reports coming out of Apple's supply chain are pushing back on that narrative, claiming the device is already in mass production and that suppliers haven't heard anything about a delayed launch. Apparently the design was locked in quite some time ago, which is exactly where you would expect Apple to be if this thing is genuinely arriving alongside the iPhone 18 Pro. Once Apple freezes the design, everything becomes about manufacturing millions of units consistently. That's where the real challenge begins, especially with something as mechanically complicated as a foldable. And honestly, this is the part I've been waiting to hear, because rumours are fun, leaked renders are fun, but until someone says mass production, I never completely believe an Apple product is actually arriving on schedule. There have been too many occasions where something looks nailed on before quietly slipping behind the scenes. We've also seen reports that Foxconn has started large-scale hiring specifically to prepare for the production of the foldable. That isn't something companies generally do for fun. If you're bringing in thousands of extra workers, you're expecting many devices to come down those assembly lines. Does that completely eliminate the possibility of a delay though? Definitely not. History actually makes me cautious here. Every time Apple introduces a completely new product category or a major redesign, things don't always go perfectly. Think back to the iPhone X. It was announced in September alongside the iPhone 8, yet customers had to wait until November before they could actually get their hands on it. Apple wanted that dramatic unveiling during the September event, but needed extra time before shipping at scale. I wouldn't be shocked if history repeats itself again. In fact, I almost expect it to. Personally, I really hope Apple somehow still gets us into people's hands in September because I'm unbelievably impatient. If you're making me wait years for a foldable iPhone, don't make me wait another month after announcing it. Just let me throw my money at you already. Though I know I'm gonna keep it. However, and I hate admitting this, there's actually a business argument for Apple delaying it slightly. Imagine trying to sell the iPhone 18 Pro and the foldable iPhone at exactly the same time. Which phone dominates every headline? Exactly. Nobody's talking about new colours or slightly better cameras when Apple's just unveiled its first foldable. Every YouTuber thumbnail instantly becomes, Apple finally did it, wow! Poor iPhone 18 Pro barely gets a chance. If Apple stagger things by a few weeks though, suddenly it gets two separate hype cycles instead of one enormous news dump. September belongs to the Pro models, and then October or November belongs to the foldable. From Apple's perspective, that's probably smarter, even if it's slightly annoying for those of us refreshing the Apple Store page every 5 minutes. The production numbers are also interesting as well, because reports now suggest Apple's told suppliers to prepare roughly 10 million units this year. Early estimates were floating around 7 or 8 million, so that's quite an increase. Now before anyone thinks 10 million units sounds massive, in Apple terms it actually isn't. The regular iPhone sells tens of millions incredibly quickly. 10 million almost feels carefully optimistic, like Apple believes demand will be huge but doesn't want warehouses overflowing if foldables remain a niche product. And I completely understand that strategy. This is not going to be the phone your parents randomly buy because their contract expired. This is a premium experiment. If the rumours are accurate, we're looking at a book-style foldable with a 7.8-inch internal display and a 5.5-inch cover display. That's a fascinating combination because when it's closed, it'll still feel like a proper smartphone rather than one of those ridiculously skinny devices that feels compromised every time you use the outer screen. Open up though, and you're basically carrying something approaching the size of an iPad mini. That changes everything. Actually, that's why I keep thinking iOS 27 has been acting strangely. Have you noticed how many Apple apps are suddenly becoming much better in landscape? Apple Music, podcasts, fitness, health, weather, reminders, voice memos, home, even messages keeps gaining more flexible layouts with collapsible sidebars. Individually, these aren't massive announcements. No one's waking up thinking, I really hope weather gets a better landscape mode today. But collectively, that's different. It feels deliberate. Apple spent well over a decade designing iOS around portrait usage first. Now suddenly loads of first-party apps are becoming far more adaptable when you rotate the device. People aren't suddenly rotating their phones more often anyway. If anything, short form video has made us even lazier, so why invest all this effort? Because Apple knows something we don't get to hold yet. A foldable iPhone changes how people naturally use a phone. When you unfold a device that's almost square, landscape suddenly becomes much more comfortable. Sidebars make sense, split layouts make sense, desktop style interfaces suddenly stop looking weird. You almost end up somewhere between an iPhone and an iPad. And I actually think that's exactly where Apple wants its product to live. I don't think they'll simply blow up existing iPhone apps and call it a day, because that would completely miss the point of buying a foldable. If I'm hypothetically spending what could be easily over $2,000, I want software that generally takes advantage of every extra inch. Give me multitasking, proper multitasking, not fake multitasking where one app awkwardly floats over another. I want something much closer to iPadOS behavior. Let me watch YouTube while replying to messages. Let me browse Safari while taking notes. Let me actually use this thing like a mini computer. Otherwise, what exactly am I paying for? A really expensive party trick? Apple seems to understand that as well. Even iPhone mirroring on macOS has become more flexible, allowing different aspect ratios instead of being locked into one fixed shape. That sounds like a tiny software tweak, but I don't think it's random. Apple's entire ecosystem suddenly feels less rigid. Apps stretch, layouts adapt, interfaces rearrange themselves, and that's exactly what a foldable needs. By the way, if you're enjoying this sort of Apple obsession, subscribe. The processor is expected to be the A20 Pro, alongside Apple's C2 modem in certain markets, so performance shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. If anything, I suspect battery life becomes a far more interesting discussion, because larger displays have this annoying habit of consuming enormous amounts of power. Apple usually manages battery efficiency brilliantly, but physics eventually wins. But hopefully it's not that much worse in the Pro phones. Then we get to the part that genuinely worries me, the price. This could hurt. Reports continue suggesting somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500. That already sounds painful, but after Apple's recent price increases across other products, I'm honestly nervous. We're all sitting here expecting around $1,999 because psychologically it feels better than saying $2,000, even though it's basically the same thing. But what if Apple decides it's actually $2,499? Can you imagine? I really hope not. I genuinely hope not. But things aren't exactly filling me with confidence at the moment. At that price, you're buying a premium laptop and a premium phone simultaneously, although I still think people are going to buy it. Not millions upon millions immediately, but enough. Because first generation Apple products have really never been about dominating sales overnight. They're about making a statement. The original Apple Watch evolved massively over time. The iPhone X completely changed expectations around flagship pricing, and this foldable feels pretty similar. It's Apple planting its flag and saying, we're here now. Then future generations hopefully become thinner, lighter, and cheaper. Hopefully. That's usually how Apple plays the long game, so after reading all these latest reports, I'm cautiously optimistic. I think September is absolutely when Apple announces this thing. I'd be amazed if that changed. The release date is where I remain slightly unconvinced. My gut still says October or November wouldn't shock me one bit, simply because that's what Apple's done before with other major releases. But if these supply chain reports are accurate, if Foxconn really is ramping up production as we speak this aggressively, and if Apple's already locked the design months ago, then maybe, just maybe, they'll surprise us and actually have it ready to go sooner than expected. I really hope they do. Before you head off, if you watched all the way to the end, type imminent down in the comments. I know you guys made it this far, and so that we can all hope the foldable releases imminently. And if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the hype button, because it genuinely helps smaller creators massively and pushes the channel out to more Apple fans. And if you want something else to watch, go watch my previous video covering the iPhone 18 Pro here.